Good evening, Internet. Welcome to another episode of Friday Night Songwriting Highlights. I'm Mac, and this is the show where I play a song and I tell you a little bit about why I think it's a good song. What I've selected for tonight is State of Confusion by the Kinks. This is the titular song off their 1983 album, State of Confusion. I wish I could be dreaming, but the nightmare's just begun. There's flooding in the basement, there's water all around, there's woodworm in the attic, and the ceiling just fell down. I'm in a state of confusion. Whoa, 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 whoa. I'm in a state of confusion. Whoa, 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 whoa. All the dirty dishes, they're still in the kitchen sink. Tumble dryer's broken and the telly's on the brink. My girlfriend's packed her bags, moved to another town. She couldn't stand the boredom when the video went down. Don't know why I feel so bad. Is it the weather or am I going mad? Don't know why I feel this way. Don't know whether I'm coming or going, and I can't get away because it's obviously shown. It's a state of confusion. Whoa, 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 whoa. I'm in a state of confusion. Whoa, 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 whoa. Don't know whether I'm coming or going. Should feel happy, should feel glad, 'cause I'm alive and I can't be banned. But back on planet Earth they shattered the illusion, and my world's spinning round in a state of confusion. Standing on an island in the middle of the road, there's traffic on either side of me, don't know which way I should go. I should have stayed at home, I should have never gone outside. Well, now I wish I'd never try to cross to the other side. I'm in a state of confusion. Whoa, 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 whoa. Ooh, I'm in a state of confusion. Whoa, 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 whoa. Ooh, lying awake in a cold, cold sweat. Am I overdrawn? Am I going in debt? It gets worse the older that you get. There's no escape from the state of confusion I'm in. From the state of confusion I'm in. Whoa, 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 whoa. Okay, so that's State of Confusion. Now, why is this a good song? I'm going to go at this from a perspective of music, because this is one of the few examples where my limited music theory can actually explain something. In every major key, there's 7 chords. The major first, the minor second, the minor third, the major fourth, the major fifth, the minor sixth, and the 7th chord, which is a half diminished chord. It sounds like this. So the 7th chord has much more of a tense quality to it, and it does not get used that often in pop music and rock and roll and blues and stuff. It does occasionally. In fact, some people write whole songs around that. Primus, Bob Dylan. So in rock and roll and in pop music, the 7th chord isn't used very often. So it kind of becomes sort of a game to create an interesting arrangement of those 6 chords that are generally used. Now in this song, the main riff and the chorus are basically the same. So and the verse, they're very similar, and it works on this 6-chord progression that's really forceful and really just pushes forwards as if almost off a cliff. And that's where this kind of bleeds into the lyrics. So I'm also going to say that the lyrics in this song and the music are pretty much in homeostasis. You can't really change one without changing the other, or without it having an effect on the other. What I mean by that is, so the song is about Ray Davis, probably, or seemingly a male narrator, voiced by Ray Davis, whose life isn't going so well. It seems like he's going through a breakup. He's having trouble keeping up with his housework, his finances. His life seems to be going down the tube, and he doesn't really have any power to do anything about it. Those ideas are fleshed out in the verses and in the choruses. So the verses kind of give a description of what's going on in his life, and then the choruses explain that it all relates to this state of confusion. So maybe you could even say some sort of mental illness, mood disorders, or something along those lines. The A section and the chorus are all over a minor progression, and the second part, where the character laments his inability to engage with people normally or happily or find some meaning in life, that's all over a major section. So it kind of juxtaposes what's going on. The character's talking about happiness, so it switches to something happy sounding, but it's sort of an ironic happiness, which is ultimately undercut by a little bit of a breakdown, and then returning to the minor section, which makes up the chorus and the main verse. So not only does this song, is it creative musically in that it comes up with a pretty good progression out of those 6 chords, but the lyrics and the melodies and chords are intertwined. They're basically they're both half of the same whole. And that is a hallmark of good songwriting, as I've mentioned before. But then the other aspect of this song is it kind of speaks more generally to the sort of alienation that a lot of people were writing about during this time period and before it, in popular music through the 70s and into the early 80s. Remember, this is 1983. So we're just going into some even brighter times in terms of popular music and sound, but some pretty dark economic and social times when you think about all of the negative stuff that happened during the 80s. Well, that's my analysis of this song. If you enjoyed this, please like and subscribe and share. That's the only way my channel is going to grow. I'll come back at you next week with another Friday Night Songwriting Highlights. I'm not sure what it's going to be, and I'll try and figure out how, again, to recommend other videos through these posts. I don't know how to do that yet. I'll figure it out. Thanks a lot. Have a good night, and try writing a song.